Hello, everyone, and welcome to FanDummies. I'm Greg.
And I'm Aaron.
Today, we're going to talk about The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, The Marshal. We're going to start with a review because it's our podcast. Talk about what we want. We're also going to figure out if any of our speculations of Season 2 came true. I mean, we're only one episode in, but we're going to give it a try. And who the F is Cobb Vanth? I mean, who is Cobb Vanth with his swagger? Yeah, he's played by Timothy Olyphant. I mean, if you couldn't figure that out, you're watching the wrong show. Hulu is sponsoring this episode, and we appreciate it. Give us the money. More about that later. Do we have to say there will be spoilers?
Yeah, just in case you haven't watched it yet.
We looked in the fridge, we opened up the can of The Mandalorian, and it's spoiled on this podcast. Let's do a quick recap. What happened at the end of The Mandalorian? How did we leave off last season?
After the battle with Moff Gideon, Din Djarin, a.k.a. Mando, leaves Navarro and embarks on his quest to reunite Baby Yoda with his people.
I just got goosebumps.
But if you remember, Moff Gideon cuts himself out of the TIE fighter with the Darksaber. Best part. So good. I love the hum of the Darksaber.
The Darksaber's got a cool story.
Season 2 opens up with Din Djarin on some Outer Rim planet chasing down a lead on finding more Mandalorians.
That's true.
So good.
Well, now that you've been caught up on what happened last season, I mean, you know everything now because we just told you the recap. So, I mean, we're good at this. We're going to talk about just this one episode, and we're not going to have a podcast about every single episode. Just this one. We might do an Instagram story, like a 5-minute review. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, make sure you follow us for our 5-minute review of the episodes as they come out. But this is the only one until the season's over that we'll put in a video and podcast like this. So let's get to the review. We're going to do this a little bit different than we normally do. First, we're going to get the salt. We're going to talk about the bad first, then we're going to go into the good. So, Aaron, why don't you start us off?
Well, to me, I kept thinking that this episode seems really similar to at least 2 of the episodes we saw in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Mando has to help someone in order to get what he needs.
Yeah, he makes a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I know which one, at least one episode that you're talking about, the one where he gets his crest. The rhino or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That episode.
Yeah, that one. And then the one where he goes like to the farmer's village and he helps them out.
Mm-hmm. Where we see the AT-AT.
Uh-huh. That one.
You know, the rhino thing was on Tatooine. Like now Mando has killed at least one of everything on that planet.
I was a little disappointed that Baby Yoda didn't get to use the Force in this first episode as well.
Okay.
I know that that's just a little nitpick, but I kept thinking that maybe he was going to help him out.
Yeah.
With the Great Dragon.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
I think they can't break that out too often, you know?
Yeah. He seemed like he was only there just so I would say, "Aw, that's so freaking cute."
It's the truth, though. I mean, Baby Yoda didn't really play a big role in this episode.
Where was Cara Dune, Grief Karga, and Moff Gideon?
Yeah, I mean, the main plot and, you know, protagonists and antagonists. I mean, we know that Moff Gideon's the antagonist of this season. We know he is. Where is he? Like, you have 8 episodes and the bad guy doesn't make an appearance in one of them is really strange to me.
I don't know. It seems like we could at least got like a little glimpse of what he's doing.
You know my rules about this. Like, you always want to see what the enemy's doing, even if your protagonist, your hero, doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you always want to see the trap.
That's it for me. It's a short list.
Yeah, that's just because you're nice.
I'm not nice. I just love it.
My salty list is longer than my sugar list.
I'm gonna leave the room so I'm not disgruntled.
You tell
I'll still like you after this podcast.
You're like, are we breaking up? Tell me as we go if you disagree with any of these. Okay.
I like that.
The fact that we go back to Tatooine makes me crazy. Did you like that or did you not like that?
I liked it.
You did?
Because you'll see my...
Oh, I know. Because you like, what's her name? The lady.
Oh, no. There's a lot of reasons that I like that he went to Tatooine.
Okay.
So you're going to hear about it in a couple minutes.
Oh, in the likes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. So one of my dislikes is actually one of your likes.
Yeah, a couple of them.
I also think this was absolutely a filler episode. We get one nugget of plot advancement and 55 minutes of things I don't care about. I had this exact same issue with season 1. In season 1, there were at least 3 filler episodes.
Yeah.
There were only maybe 5 meaningful episodes that moved the plot forward. It was like I was watching Star Trek The Next Generation. It was like an episodic TV show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To where literally the only little tidbit we got out of this whole thing is the fact that we saw what we believe is Boba Fett at the very end. That's it. The whole show. I don't expect Mando to find Baby Yoda's people ever, by the way, because then to me the show would be over.
I hope not. I want them to stay together forever.
Exactly. The show wouldn't be the show if they get separated, in my opinion. If the creators think that we watch The Mandalorian because of The Mandalorian, they're mistaken. We watch this show because of Baby Yoda.
It's not because they're a dynamic duo.
I do think the pair is very effective.
Mm-hmm.
Very effective. I like the team. And I like the team of Cara Dune and Greef Karga too. So I like the ensemble thing, which hopefully we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't like the fact how Mando leaves Baby Yoda behind without a second thought. It makes me crazy, as a matter of fact. Makes me crazy. This time, he left him on the speeder bike. Right? He's in the little satchel on the speeder bike. He pulls up to the bar.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay, just imagine like you're a human child. You're in the backseat of your dad's LeBaron. He pulls up to the bar and just gets out and goes in. Doesn't say anything to you. That's
he got
essentially
out and came in.
Well, that's what he had to do.
He's 50 years old.
He's like, get out, you old man. Like, you want to go to the bar? Go to the bar. Stay in the pouch. Go in the bar. I just don't care.
The part that made me nervous was when they were fighting the crate dragon and Mando and Cobb, they flew in their jetpack up to like the mountain where the crate dragon was, and Baby Yoda's just sitting in there in that little
just watching the
bag
show
on the bike.
Yeah.
And I was like, he could totally get eaten right now.
I know, like he just ditches him. It's the craziest thing. Anyway, I guess he just believes that, B-Yo-Yo will either stay where he's at and be fine or come in and be fine. It doesn't even matter.
Kind of funny. They don't have any screen time for Mando to be like, okay, let's go inside the bar, let's get out of the car.
All he had to do,
let's hold hands and walk.
All he had to do was grab the satchel, put it over him, and come in. He didn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
I'm also not 100% a fan of Timothy Olyphant playing the Marshal. I'm just not. We dedicated a whole segment to this, so I'm not getting into it. All I'm saying is, he doesn't have the gravitas to play the Marshal. There's no way anyone would let this dude be the Marshal of any town, especially not on Tatooine. He probably would get voted out of his neighborhood association in modern days. He's just not that scary. So we'll get into that more.
It's the fact that he has the Mandalorian armor that makes him scary. I don't think it's him or his personality.
Yeah, all right, we'll get into that. All right, Aaron, let's get to your paragraph. There's a lot of points here of what you liked.
Count how many times I say loved.
All right. What did you like about it?
Well, I really loved it. No matter how much Greg poo-poos on it, I still love it. I think I could love this episode and this whole season, no matter how bad it could be.
That's the issue.
I think I'll still just love it just because it is The Mandalorian and it's Baby Yoda. I really loved when Mando went to Mos Pelgo. I loved the architecture of the buildings and the Tatooine aesthetic of it.
Really?
Just
Like,
loved it.
Like dirt, poor, dumpy mining town? That's
No,
your thing?
I love the dome roofs. Like just it's all on the sand. I just loved it. I don't know. I just love the way it looks.
Well, I'm glad you're telling me this now. Been together like almost 20 years. I guess we should move to Arizona and build a geodesic dome in the middle of the sand.
Yeah, that's what I want. You know, I have a thing for deserts and cacti and succulents. So I think one of these little dome buildings totally could live in.
Let's do it.
Has to have a pool. Because I think it would get hot out in the desert.
Yeah.
But if there was a little village of these buildings on Airbnb that we could go stay in for the week, we're going to book that. So start looking, Greg.
Okay.
I loved how Mando finally has a little pouch that he totes Baby Yoda around in.
Mhm.
It's not just like the little flying pram that Baby Yoda sits in. I like how he has a little bag. And he's on the little bike as well.
They missed a perfect opportunity of him closing the flap, though. Like, flap.
I liked how we got to see the Weequay bartender.
Yeah.
He's the same species as Hondo Anaka
Mm-hmm.
from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Apparently, like humans, they come in various sizes.
Yeah. And we also got to see other species of animals that I guess we have or haven't seen before, like the crate dragon. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, the crate dragon was cool.
Yeah. And then the Tusken Raiders had those dogs, the Massives.
Mm-hmm.
I thought those were pretty fun as well. Kind of like a dog, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a dog, a desert dog.
Personality.
Did you like the bantas?
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah. Did you notice they have lips? Name an animal besides a human or monkey equivalent that has lips. Imagine if like a horse was walking around with lips. Like,
Fish?
yeah, fish don't have lips. It's just so weird to me that they put lips on this animal.
Uh-huh.
When they created it originally, George Lucas or whatever, they had this thing, they sculpted it, they sent it back, and you know what? It's missing. Lips.
No, it looks like something like somebody doodled on a napkin and then they gave it to an artist to, make it into a puppet or whatever.
Yeah.
And it came back with lips. And they were like, oh, well, this is the only one we have. Back in the 70s or whatever, they created it.
Animals don't have lips. I mean, they have lips, but they don't have lips that look like human lips.
Yeah. I think they're pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Thank the Force. We got to see Pelimato again.
Mm-hmm. I know you like her.
I just think that's cute how much she loves Baby Yoda. And Mando has a friend in the galaxy that I think he can trust.
Yeah. The funny thing is Baby Yoda will still be a baby long after she's dead. I mean, be like, man, you didn't grow at all in the last 40 years or 30 years, however long she's got left.
Yeah, yeah. Save the best for last. Baby Yoda on the speeder bike in the little bag. He just looks so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was hiding in the giant vase.
You mean the spittoon?
When the crate dragon was coming by.
You mean the spittoon?
Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm. I guess
it's a vase, Greg. It's a vase.
I guess they don't use it for a spittoon because he came out pretty clean.
Yeah. I thought that was cute, though.
All right. What I loved about this episode, what made it good, is that there were tons and tons of fan service. And of course, we see R5D4.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that got me right in the feels.
Uh-huh.
He's the very first droid we see in A New Hope. When we first watched that, it's Luke's uncle sells him, tries to sell him, or does sell him to the Jawas.
Mm-hmm.
I just love seeing these droids. It also gives us insight that Tatooine recycles everything and is in really rough shape, We also see what we believe to be Anakin's old pod racer. We're going to talk about this a little bit more later.
I loved it too.
Yeah, it's really great. Of course, I love seeing Boba Fett's armor and eventually the real Boba Fett, which we think it is him, but we'll talk about some alternates that it could be. To me, the whole episode was really about making Boba Fett's appearance plausible. I mean, if Mando can jetpack out of a crate dragon, then certainly Boba can jetpack out of a Sarlacc.
Yeah.
I think we're going to dig into this a little bit in the next segment, but
it makes sense.
I think what's happening is they're trying to connect the dots that it's just realistic or plausible, or at least some brain cell will accept that Boba Fett is still around.
If it is Boba Fett.
If it is Boba Fett. All right, Aaron. It's time to rate this episode. Out of 5 stars, what do you give the Marshal?
I would give it a 4 out of 5.
That's lower than I expected, actually.
Uh-oh.
How much you love this show.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's room for improvement, but I really did love it a lot.
You mean like plot?
Yeah. Story-wise.
You mean like some connection to the last season?
Yes.
Like any connection at all to the last season?
Yeah. Besides Mando and Baby Yoda.
Exactly. Being in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this could have been the first episode of the first season. Easily. I think the vibe of the show is so perfect. It's hard for me to rate this low. Just like you, it feels like Star Wars. You know, it smells like Star Wars. The sets are Star Wars. The music is Star Wars.
Wait. I forgot to add to my list the music.
It was good.
Okay, go on.
But I still have to say it's a filler episode. And the story of the episode was weak. The fan service was great.
Mm-hmm.
If we never see the Marshal again, then I'm going to take away a 0.5 star. Because something more has to come out of this episode. And when you go back and binge watch it, you catch that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you watch it every week, like you really have to almost rewatch the last episode, then watch the next episode. Like you almost have to binge it every single week.
Well, maybe now the fact that Mando has Boba's armor, and if that is Boba or the alternative that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Don't spill the beans.
Then, now he has another person that he can give his armor to.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. A little better than half.
Yeah.
It's a good episode, a good solid episode. I can't wait to watch it when we binge this thing. But until then, to me, it's just like a standalone episode. This episode is brought to you by the Hulu original series Hellstrom. Hellstrom is a darker, more chilling, and supernatural side of the MCU.
Hellstrom is produced by Marvel Television and based on characters from Marvel Comics. Hellstrom leans much more into horror and is not your typical superhero series.
And we love our superheroes when they're complicated and they have demons to work out. All episodes of Hulu's Hellstrom are now streaming only on Hulu.
A mature, scary, mysterious, action-packed series.
Now, we recently binge-watched Hellstrom, and we talked about it in depth in one of our previous episodes. We'll put the link in the show notes, but go check that out. Listen to it right now. Go watch Hellstrom. You will love it. Thanks again to Hulu for sponsoring this episode. If you would like to support FanDummies, please check out our Patreon. For $5, you get a bunch of benefits. Go to patreon.com/FanDummies. Of course, another great way to support the show is just by subscribing. So give that subscribe button a press. Give us a thumbs up if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're listening to us as a podcast, just go rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It'll take you just a second to go right over there to Apple Podcasts, close the good app you're listening to, go over to Apple Podcast, rate us a 5 stars, and then come back to the app you like. Pretty easy. We would appreciate that. If you are new to FanDummies, we talk about superhero, science fiction, and fantasy TV and movies every single week. It's so much fun. You can listen to us on any podcast app out there or watch us on YouTube.
If you watch us on YouTube, you get to see all the little Mandalorian collectibles I have around me.
Yeah, plus
especially today.
Yeah, plus on YouTube, we do all sorts of different stuff too. We do unboxings. There's, sometimes the episodes are a little bit different. Just depends. They're YouTubified. We've done a bunch of episodes on The Mandalorian by now. You guys can tell we're fans. I hope by all this. We're fans. We're Star Wars fans. Honestly, though, we're bigger Star Wars fans since Disney bought it.
Oh, yeah.
I know people are going to hate on it, but now that there's real brand new content, we're starting to dig into it. And I do like the Legends stuff for sure. But, watching the Clone Wars and watching the movies and watching The Mandalorian, all the stuff that's coming out, I was not a super big Star Wars fan before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think The Mandalorian has really pulled me into Star Wars a lot.
Yeah. So in our last episode, we made some speculations. Did this season 2, episode 1, did it answer any of the questions? Did it tell us anything we were missing? You can go back and listen to that, episode 101. We'll put that in our show notes. We'll put a little link in our show notes. But go back and listen to episode 101. You'll see all the crazy things we hope to see. And then you can listen to this show and you can hear us go, yeah, we were spot on, or we were completely wrong. So Aaron, start us off.
Well, one big thing that we speculated about was, is it possible that Boba Fett is alive?
Yeah.
Did Boba Fett get out of the Sarlacc the same way as Mando got out of the Great Dragon?
I don't really recall what I said before, but I think it's possible, but unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about the Sarlacc is you get dissolved in its stomach over like a really long time. So it's possible if Boba Fett had all of his gear and he's got his jetpack and he was reaching for his gun as he was falling down in the pit, it's possible that he could have figured out a way to get out. I definitely think he did.
Mm-hmm.
We knew Timothy Olyphant was going to be in season 2, but IMDb didn't list who he was playing. I was really surprised when Olyphant was wearing the Boba Fett armor.
Mm-hmm. Greg said in the last podcast that Oliphant's just too pretty to be wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
So he has to be a helmetless character.
And if you notice, he was helmetless for a huge part of this.
Uh-huh.
Even when he's on the speeder cruising, when you would want to wear a helmet, he had no helmet.
That's funny. Yeah.
He took it off almost immediately when he sat down.
And
you would think.
Yeah, he didn't even wear like any goggles or a bandana or anything.
No. I mean, and he was they were talking at like a regular volume over the speeder. It was the most ridiculous scene. Like how that scene didn't get cut from this. How Jon Favreau didn't like preview that and go, that's really stupid. At least like have them hold the button down on something and have it sound like they're doing it over a intercom or something. But it was literally like, imagine 2 cars on the highway. You both have your windows down and you just lean out and have a conversation with the car next to you. Impossible.
And Mando has on his helmet.
Even if you're on 2 motorcycles on the highway and you're trying to have a conversation, it's just, the whole thing is really ridiculous.
Yeah, I think they had a hard time figuring out when they were going to tell Cobb's backstory. I think they had to fill it in somewhere, right?
Yeah, they made a poor choice. The entire next segment is dedicated to talking about Olyphant and his character. So I'm going to just hold off on the rant that I have planned until then.
We saw Tamara Morrison on IMDb So we knew he was going to be in season 2, but we didn't know who he was going to be. Like if he was going to be Boba Fett or just a clone trooper, because, it could just be a clone.
Yeah, because all the clones look like Tamara Morrison.
Yeah. We were even speculating it'd be really cool if he turned out to be Rex from Clone Wars.
Should be Rex.
But it turns out he's most likely Boba Fett.
Yeah, on IMDb, it actually says Boba Fett next to his name now, which is a little bit disappointing to me. I really hope that it's a clone looking for Boba Fett and finds a dude that doesn't look like him wearing the armor. Because imagine you're a clone, the war is over, you're probably wanting to retire or you're moving on. You have no past, you have no family other than the brothers that you served with. You might want to try to find out who the DNA donor was. So you probably heard that Boba Fett was last on Tatooine. So that's where you're at. You find the armor, but some dude's wearing it that doesn't look like you, right? I think it would be a really cool story. I think all the clones think they come from Mandalorian DNA. So I just think it'd be a really neat story.
Yeah. The only question I have is if he is a clone, didn't they genetically modify the clones to grow and age really fast so they can pop them into the war? So that's the only thing I keep thinking that would make him really old.
They just grow to adulthood fast.
And then they slow down.
Yeah, I think it's like they get to 18 or something fast.
We said before that Cara Dune, Grief Karga, and Moff Gideon was going to be in 8 episodes. Where were they at? And why were they listed before on IMDb as all 8 episodes and now they're not?
Well, I'm guessing they're still on Navarro. I'm guessing Moff Gideon hasn't killed them. So they're still on IMDb. But now it only shows them as 7 episodes.
I think they update IMDb after that episode airs.
I know. That's why I'm hoping that it doesn't just slowly go to 0. You just never know. But I think Mando is going to head back to Navarro next because he has nowhere to go. He has no leads. He has no nothing. So he probably, you do what everybody does. You go find some friends when you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that's what he's going to do. I mean, we see them in the trailer, so they're not dead.
Yeah, they look happy.
Yeah, exactly. As we now know, Timothy Olyphant did not play Boba Fett, but instead wore the armor and plays Cobb Vanth. Cobb Vanth is a person in the Star Wars canon. Aaron, who is Cobb Vanth?
Cobb Vanth is a character from the 2015 novel Star Wars Aftermath, written by Chuck Wendig. Yeah, neither one of us has read the book, but from what I can understand from reading stuff online is the story is very similar as to what we saw on screen.
In the book, did he have Boba Fett's armor? Oh, yeah? Oh, wow.
And he gets it from the Jawa, too.
Oh, wow. Well, that's good. The funny thing about this whole thing is that the armor didn't fit him at all. Or what I think when I see it is a child Mandalorian wearing daddy's armor. You know what I mean? At Christmas, it stumbles out. It's a little too heavy for him. His legs are shaking. Look, Daddy, I'm wearing your armor. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it didn't fit him at all.
It was bad.
It wasn't supposed to fit him, though. I mean, it's not like they molded it to fit him.
He looked like that Mando bobblehead on your table. Looked just like that. The helmet was way too big. It just was ridiculous.
Did the helmet have a hair section? Because when he took the helmet off, his hair was perfect.
If you watch closely, his hair kept changing.
Yeah.
So the second he pulled off the helmet, it was like futuristic hair gel because it was just perfect.
He didn't even have it on.
And he looks so good. he is a good looking dude. He's
Uh-huh.
got the silver hair thing going on, and it just is. He doesn't look like a Mandalorian. He doesn't look tough, but he looks good. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a good looking dude.
I did like the scene where we first saw Cobb and he comes through the door and he stops there. It's like when Mando came through the door and he just stopped there.
Yeah.
It's like that same callback scene.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But that was the first time I realized that when you see the silhouette, it looks totally wrong.
Uh-huh.
Like it just looks so bad. Like you see Mando's silhouette, and it's just like this beefy dude with giant armor.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a robot. Like he just is like all square shouldered and like stocky, and the armor fits him perfectly. And then, you know, Cobb's walking in like, this armor's just a little bit too heavy for me,
It probably is heavy though, isn't it?
but I have to look menacing. So I'm going to turn my shoulders a little bit and look menacing. It was so bad. It was
Yeah.
really, really bad.
Yeah. We did freeze the frame with Mando and Cobb in it. And it's crazy to me how old Boba Fett's armor looks and
Mhm.
how worn and dated it is compared to Mando's like super shiny and new Beskar armor.
I'm assuming that Boba Fett's armor is also Beskar, but it's definitely an older design for sure. And if you think about it, I mean, Jango Fett had that armor, and he got his head chopped off in that helmet.
Mm.
Yeah, in Attack of the Clones, I think. Yeah, Mace Windu chopped his head right off,
Mm-hmm.
and his head was still in the helmet, and Boba Fett had to retrieve the armor.
Yeah.
Wasn't good. So that armor, I mean, who knows how old it was when Jango Fett had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to be 50 years old. Or more.
Uh-huh. I just love the comparison between the old and the new though. That was
Yeah.
pretty neat.
If only Timothy Olyphant knew that some guy's head got chopped off in that helmet he's got on. You know, in that scene where where we froze it and looked
Mhm.
at Mando and Cobb standing next to each other, it's also crazy how much more awesome Pedro Pascal looks wearing that Mandalorian armor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're just two different types of people, and Pedro wears the armor better. I don't know how better to say it.
Yeah,
No
they
offense.
cast him really well.
They did. I mean, no offense to Oliphant, but he doesn't play the mannerisms of someone who's supposed to be tough. He doesn't even stand tough. Like he stands with like his hip bent and like one knee bent. Like he stands like he's at a cocktail party. Like he's having conversations with somebody. Like he's not standing like he's getting ready to kill a crate dragon.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people online are saying things about him being like too thin to be a Mandalorian, or, you know, he just looked really small. And I just think about Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because Jeffrey Dean Morgan is small but tall, kind of like Oliphant. But dude, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a scary Negan.
They should have hired him.
He stands tough. You know, he's like got the bat, and it's all about how you do it. It's your swagger.
Yeah.
Like it makes no difference your body shape or size. It's all about what you do with it. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he's a scary bad guy. Timothy Olyphant, you know, he's like a romantic comedy guy. He's just not Mandalorian guy. The armor itself definitely looked beat up. It needs a paint job or a polish. And I didn't even realize Mando's armor wasn't painted until I saw it next to Boba Fett's. So now I call Mando the El Cromando because he's chrome. And it's this other YouTube channel we like painted their car all chrome and called it the El Cromino, which I think is hilarious. So now Mando's the El Cromando.
Nice. Since Cobb got the armor from the Jawas, I think that Boba Fett is dead and that this is a clone of Jango Fett.
So you think this is one of the clone troopers?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you're right. I hope it's Rex. And I think Rex is still alive during this time. He made it through the Clone Wars. He made it through the rebellion. And I think this could be Mando's link to Ahsoka, because, you know, Rex knows Ahsoka.
Yeah.
It also makes more sense to me than Boba Fett. Rex has lost his Jedi General Anakin. Obi-Wan is dead. Yoda is dead. Maybe Tatooine helps him feel a little closer to his friends. You know, like both Obi-Wan spent time on Tatooine. We know Anakin spent some time there.
Mm-hmm.
We know Luke ended up there, which is all crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because that's where his uncle lived, because that's where Anakin lived. He stayed with his uncle. So I think, you know, Tatooine is really rooted in the mythos of Star Wars, which is why we keep going back there. But
it's kind of like their Earth.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good analogy, maybe.
Do you really think that Cobb's speeder bike is made out of parts from Anakin's pod racer? I thought it looked a lot like it when I saw it on screen the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that looks like Anakin's pod racer. Like, I couldn't believe it because I love the pod racers.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite parts of the prequels.
Yeah, one of my least favorite parts because it doesn't move the plot forward. You know, I'm always about the story. I think it is. I think it got tossed in there as fan service.
I don't care. I liked it.
But I don't think the whole pod racer is canon. Like what happened to the pod racer after the first movie.
Okay. Like after Anakin won.
Yeah. I think when Qui-Gon sold it to Sebulba, I think that's where it ends in canon. But it has continued on, like in the comic books. Sebulba supposedly painted it orange.
It was orange?
Yeah. Made modifications to it.
Yeah.
Raced it. Took it to other planets. Crashed it. Abandoned it. And Anakin retrieved it and raced it again.
Again, yeah.
I really think that if Anakin was going to store it, he would store it on Tatooine.
Oh, yeah.
You know, on Tatooine, nothing's ever gone. They keep that stuff around forever.
Plus, there's two of like the little engines. So, you know, there's a pretty good chance that at least one of them is still around, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a high likelihood that that's Anakin's pod racer for sure. And it gives me the goosebumps thinking about it. Anything else you want to say about Timothy Olyphant or the Cobb character? Did you like it? Or
I liked him more than you did.
Yeah.
I think once I got past his bad swagger.
Yeah.
I liked it.
He wasn't even that great of an actor, to be honest, because what he did a lot, which I hate in actors, is when they talk to the horizon. You know, we've really been fighting this great dragon for some time. I'm like, what are you looking at, dude? It like something out there?
I think it'd be really hard to be in a conversation with Mando because he has the helmet on.
You got to look him in his slit.
You have no. Yeah, but if he's not looking at you, then what do you look at?
He doesn't have to look at anything.
Look off in the distance.
He could have Netflix playing on the inside of his helmet.
He probably does.
He's just there. He's just there to be there.
He's probably watching One Punch Man. Get some tips.
Exactly. But if you notice, there's a lot of stare in the distance with Timothy Olyphant, and it drives me crazy. I hate to stare in the distance acting. I also think that the part where he was in the desert and getting ready to die and he was doing the walk like he was about to fall over was comical. I mean, it's like if you're like a 14-year-old and you're playing that you're, you know, like you're thirsty and you're getting ready to pass out, that's how you do it with your foot all turned and, you know, like, no, what happens is, I mean, I don't know what happens. I've never been to that, but I imagine what happens is you're walking kind of slow and then you just face plant or you drop down on your knees. You know, you don't like trip over your own foot. Like it just, the whole thing is just like, they should have just like, dude, do that again and don't look so stupid.
Maybe they wanted him to act like that.
Turn your foot. Oh, that's a good one. Oh,
yeah.
That's a good one, Timothy.
Yeah, maybe they directed him like that. You never know.
I don't think so. Not when the rest of the directing is just so perfect. But you never know. That's it for this episode. We are done.
I need to get ready for Mando Mondays tomorrow.
Yes, Mando Mondays. We need to try to buy something this time. Then we can open box it.
I tried to pre-order the Black Series Mando and Baby Yoda figure from Target.
Ooh.
And it sold out super fast. Either that or I got the time wrong. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it sold out like within minutes.
Well, you better double check it today.
And it says going on sale, I think in November. These facts aren't 100%, but
We're coming to you with the 98% facts.
no one knows. But I'm hoping that they're going to sell more. Like that was just the pre-order.
Mhm.
And then maybe since so many people wanted it, that they'll make more. Because that's what I'm hoping for.
I hope so.
And I almost bought the one on the Walmart site. It was another Mando figure with Baby Yoda. And I don't know why I didn't buy it, but because the Target one was superior. It was just cooler.
Well,
There's also another really cool one. I think it's an Amazon exclusive. And it's a Stormtrooper on one of the speeder bikes and Baby Yoda's in the little pouch on the side. I might get that one too.
Get them all. And then you can show everybody why one is superior than the other.
Yeah. There's also a Baby Yoda animatronic that you can drive around. It has like a little wristwatch that you wear and you drive it around.
We're not getting that.
It looks kind of cheesy.
Sounds super cheesy.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, I don't know when, but supposedly there's another Baby Yoda, like a more life-size Baby Yoda that's coming out. I don't know what Mando Monday it's going to drop, but that's the one I want. It's supposed to look more screen accurate.
Nice.
Is what I'm hoping for. It irritates me that all these toy companies, it seems like they have their own artistic rights to like the 3D rendering of what Baby Yoda looks like. And when I see Baby Yoda a lot of times, it doesn't look like Baby Yoda. It's just a green...
Looks like a green gremlin.
Bubbly thing. I don't know. I really like it when Baby Yoda looks screen accurate because that's the Baby Yoda that I really love.
Well, follow us on Instagram and we'll post if we get anything for Mando Mondays and check our Instagram for our in-between episodes that we'll put up. We'll just do some ad hoc reviews as things happen. Thank you for listening to this episode of FanDummies. Please subscribe, rate, and write us a review on whatever app you're listening to us on. Like even in Overcast, you can give us a star. You can give us a thumbs up in Spotify. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do that's really great. Leave us a comment in CastBox. Tell us if you liked the episode. As always, links to our Patreon, our Facebook group, and our merch store will be in the show notes below. We do have a FanDummies Facebook group, so if you just can't get enough and you want to talk to us all the time, we're in there. Like, we got chairs and loungers. There's a big screen TV. I mean, who knew? Like, a Facebook group was like somebody's living room. But it is, I promise. You'll have to see it when you get there. Reach out to us at FanDummies on all social media. Thanks a lot for coming. We appreciate you so much. Until next time, bye.
Bye.